And hello everyone. It's your girl Gabrielle. Welcome to a brand new episode of Hot Topics. This is the web series where we talk about things in education, employment, divorce, finance, mental health, physical health, or anything else that is steamy. So I am excited about this topic for today because it is a repeat topic, and we like to bring back topics here at Hot Topics because we believe that there are multiple ways to see the same thing, right? So with that said, the topic for this episode is Dealing with Grief Part 3. So obviously there's a parts 1 and 2, right? Which you could check out on our video library. But today is just part 3. So this is the third time that we are bringing up this topic. And it's amazing when you can get another perspective on the same thing. So without further ado, let me tell you who is going to sit on the hot seat. Her name is Arletha Orr, and she is my guest for today. So let's get right into it. Who is Arletha Orr? Let me tell you who she is. So Arletha Orr is an American author from a small town in Mississippi. Or initially started working a corporate job until exasperated by it, and she eventually ventured into full-time entrepreneurship until she realized that destiny had other plans for her. It was only when her world collapsed around her after a fatal evening that Arletha discovered her true calling in life. She knew that God had a greater purpose for her, and with him by her side, Orr began her journey to shine a light for the people whose lives had been consumed by the darkness around them. With her passion and vigor, she hopes to selflessly serve others and save souls for God's kingdom. Orr is an author and publisher. She's also a certified life coach who has answered the call of God on her life to inspire and encourage those around her. That is amazing. All right, so let's get right to it. I'm gonna bring Arletha to the stage right now. Hey, how you doing today?
I am great. How are you?
I'm wonderful, wonderful.
Awesome.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm going to have you tell your story. So I'm gonna pass the baton over to you, and don't be alarmed. You'll just see yourself. So it'll look like you're talking to yourself, but I can still hear you and see you. So I'm gonna go ahead and have you tell your story.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Arletha Orr. I am in Mississippi, a resident of Mississippi. And 6 years ago, on to May the 18th of this year, 6 years ago, I lost my husband and my 2 children in a train accident. Yes, so it was a regular morning. We got up, got ready to go to work and to school to get the children off to school. And they went to school. I went to work, and that evening they were struck by an Amtrak train. My husband picked my children up from the daycare center, and as they were on their way to the house, they were struck by the train. Very tragic accident, something very hard to deal with. But I want to encourage everybody, and I want you to know that although you may go through things like that, that you will be able to get through it. Um, You will have your hard times, you will have those difficult moments, but it's possible to get through it. This year of May the 18th, it will be 6 years. The time has really flown by, but I've been kept, God has gracefully kept me to keep me in my right mind and to keep me sane to get through that.
That's, thank God for that. I imagine losing your entire family in a single day, that can be devastating for people.
Mhm, mhm. Yes, can.
So take us through that moment. So how did you find out what happened?
Okay. So as I was driving home, my husband called me and told me that he would pick up the children from school. So I decided to stay at work a little late. And when I was almost to the house, I received a phone call saying that my husband was hit by a train. And I was like, huh? Really? And she's like, yes, your husband has been hit by a train. She asked, she said, doesn't he drive a red truck? And I was like, yes, he does. So the first thought that went through my head was he picked up the children from the daycare center. So I asked her where they were, and I immediately went to the location. When I arrived at the location, I saw the train on the track, and I saw the truck. The train had pushed the truck probably like a mile down the track. So saw the train, I saw the truck just sitting on the track, and I was like, "Oh my God! Like this is reality. This is really happening." I never in a million years thought anything like this would happen to me, but God had other plans, and that's okay. That's okay. So when I arrived, I got there and I stood right across the street from the track because it's a small town. So the track was right here. Then we had grassy area. Then we had the road, and I was on the other side of the road, just standing there watching. They kept telling me that the ambulance was coming. They were going to come and get them and take them to the hospital. That they were on their way, and it seemed like it took forever. I don't know how long it actually took, but it seemed like it took them forever to actually get there. Finally, they did arrive, and I saw them when they pulled my husband out of the truck and they laid him on the ground. So I'm thinking, okay, what's going on? Are they going to resuscitate them? Are they going to make them better? Are they going to take them to the hospital? What's about to happen? I had absolutely no clue, but I was just standing there wondering what was going on, but also while I was standing there, I was praying because at that moment, that's all I knew to do was to pray. So I began to pray to my Father. I began to pray to God and just asking to cover them, just praying in the Holy Ghost to Him because I didn't know what else to do or say during that time. So once they pulled my husband out the truck, I saw them lay him on the ground. I did not see my children. They would not allow me to see my children, but I stayed out there until they were gone off the track. Finally, or later on, the police chief came and told me that my husband and my children were deceased. And the next question he asked, okay, what funeral home would you like to use? I couldn't process that at that moment. Like, you just told me that I just lost my whole family. How do you expect me to come up with the funeral home name? So my aunt was standing there and she was able to tell him a funeral home that our family had previously used. So she was able to speak in and talk for me then because I just couldn't process it at that particular moment. I was still actually in shock at what was happening and what was going on. So I stayed out there. I wanted to stay out there until they got my babies off the track, until they were in the car. The funeral home arrived, all of that later on, hours later. So I wanted to stay out there until I knew that my babies were quote unquote safe. So they were in the funeral car. And once they left, or once I knew that they were in the car, then I left the accident, the scene of the accident.
It's all of that happened very quickly, it sounds
Hmm.
like.
Hmm. It did.
So 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 now tell us what happened at the funeral home. What happened there?
Okay, so when I had to go to the funeral home, of course, I had to just make sure that everything was okay, right, for the funeral. To make sure that they had everything that they needed, to make sure that the programs and everything were done, make sure everybody had flowers and all that for the actual funeral slash homegoing celebration is what we normally call it, or what I wanted to call it. Also, when I did my children's obituaries, or when I did there, I call it the life journey. I did not want to call it an obituary because my daughter was 7 and my son was 1. So I did their life journey to kind of lay out how they lived their life because their life was shortly lived. And I just want to kind of lay it out. I did not want the word obituary on there. I wanted life journey to make it a little bit different for me and to kind of feel at ease to know that it's not just like an obituary, an official obituary, but a life journey to show how they live their life.
So you didn't want it to seem like it was the end of their life, but it was another step in their life.
Yes, the life journey, I want to be different. So I didn't want to say obituary because obituary, okay, somebody lives, they passes, they dies, that's it, that's their story. But I wanted to kind of lay theirs out a little bit different because they were so young. So I wanted to read a little bit different than a regular obituary. So I kind of told a story versus just listen, okay, birth, death, siblings, parents, leave to cherish. I listed or wrote it out as an actual story.
And you did the same for your husband too, right?
Yes, his was similar. Uh-huh.
Do you remember what you put down for uh for each one? Do you mind sharing?
I do not remember what I put down on it. That was that was kinda something that I decided to do at that particular moment. I can't tell you what was on it.
Yeah. So it's trying to get over that all of that happened fairly quickly.
Mhm.
So how long, so from the time you were at the tracks to the funeral home, how long was that period of time?
It was only about a week because we did the accident happened on a Wednesday. We did not do the funeral that following week. We did it the next weekend to give people time to come in out of town so they could make it because my brother lives out of town to get him time to come in and get settled. So probably about a week and a half.
Hmm, that is not a lot of time to grieve. What I mean, what do you think of that?
Week and a half, it was okay because I knew we had to go ahead and do the homegoing celebration. So that I was okay with that.
So you look at death from a different perspective. You look at it as, um, like I was saying before, like you don't look at it as the end of the road. It sounds like you look at it as, you're passing from one stage to another.
When someone passes, or when someone dies, they go to a resting place, according to the Bible. They go to a resting place, and when judgment day come, that's when everybody will be rose up or will rise again and to be with God. Uh, Death is the end of life. So, and everyone living eventually has to die. My prayer is that I will fulfill my purpose while I'm here on earth, and I will accomplish everything that I'm set out to accomplish while I'm here because I don't want to leave here and not have my work undone.
Hmm. So it's God just ultimately decides your fate.
Hmm. Yes, because he's sovereign, he's God, he knows everything.
So when you found out that your husband and children passed away, do you recall the emotions that you were feeling at the time?
Yes. So once I found out that they were deceased, of course, I was sitting there wondering and hoping and praying that they would be okay. But when I found out that they were deceased, I was hurt. I was devastated, as any mom or wife would be. I was sad. I cried for a couple of hours because I just couldn't believe it. I was in shock. I was in denial. I couldn't believe what was actually happening. So went to sleep that night. I slept with no problem because I prayed and asked God to cover me. Went to sleep that night and I woke up the next morning and my heart was hurting so bad. It felt like someone had literally got a knife and stabbed me in the heart with it, stabbed me in the chest with it. It hurt really, really bad. So I began to pray and ask God, okay, well, what do I do from here? What do you expect me to do? How do you expect me to live? How do you expect me to carry on with my life? Because basically, my family, work, and church was all I did, and it was all that I had. So God spoke one word, and He told me to live, and that's where I got the title of my book from as well. It's called Live because that's what God gave me instructions to do. So I was like, okay, God, how do I live? I'm already living. And He just spoke it again, live. So that word has been with me for the past 6 years. I think it will forever be with me because in my darkest moment, in the time when I wanted to give up, when I didn't know what to do, He spoke and gave me life.
So he gave you the motivation to keep going.
Yes, that one word gave me motivation, it gave me life, it gave me hope, it gave me peace, it gave me strength, it gave me all of that to get through the process, to get through the grieving process. Because there were times even when I wanted to give up still, when I doubted God or when I didn't want to do things, and he would speak the word again to live, and that encouraged me and kept me going.
So you definitely you still hold on to your faith. It sounds like.
Yes, most definitely. Yeah.
So right, it's coming back to me now. In our preliminary interview, I noticed that it's when other people when others experience grief, some people they just break down crying. They're frozen. They can't function. They're depressed. It's like they turn into stone. Like they just can't move.
Mhm.
And I noticed that the way you react to grief is different, and that you had religion to turn to, and I don't it to me it seemed like you were able to move on quickly. I don't know if I'm reading that wrong.
I'm not gonna say that I was able to move on quickly because I am human just like anybody else. I still hurt, still have those feelings, still cry, feel denied, isolated, betrayed, empty. So I'm not gonna say that I didn't hurt or I moved from it quickly. I still have those moments or had those moments where I cried and I had my moment. And it's okay to have those moments because that's part of the process because you're human. So it's okay to feel those things, to cry, to let it out, to scream, to shout, to holler, do whatever you have to do because it's too much to hold inside. But what I did do was I prayed and asked God to help me through it because I know I could not get through it in my own strength.
Do you do you remember what you prayed about? Do you remember what you said in the prayer?
I asked God to give me strength. That's all I knew to say at that moment. Because I mean, when you're going through something like that, you can't find many words to say. So all I could pray was, okay, God, give me strength. God, I need you to help me through this. I need the Holy Ghost to help me through this because that's all you can say at that moment. There's no proper way to pray or the right words to say at that given moment because you're hurting. Um, and you're pouring from your heart. You're not just trying to say words to make it sound right or say words to kind of make it formal. You're praying from your heart and you're just saying what your heart is saying at that time. That's all I could say was God give me strength.
Right, I mean, I you were so overwhelmed. It's you you couldn't find the words to pray to God. All you could say was, God, give me strength.
Correct. Yes.
So now let's talk about after the funeral home. So the funeral is done, and so after the funeral, well then, where you said you were able to go to sleep and you woke up. So let's talk about the day after. So now 24 hours have passed. You don't see your husband, you don't see your kids. There's you notice a difference. The people in your life are not there anymore. Time has passed. what's going through your mind? What are you feeling?
Yeah, that's when the one that I just said, the next day when I got up and it felt like somebody was literally piercing my heart because, okay, reality had set in because they were not there. And that's when God gave me the word and told me to live. So that's what I live by daily. That was my word, that was my motivation, that was my hope.
Absolutely, absolutely. So before, in the beginning of this, you said God had other plans, right? So what did you mean by that?
At what part? Tell me what part are you talking about?
Um, that you were saying like your husband, he took it. No, I think your husband. You were working late, so your husband was going to take your kids home from school, but God had other plans.
He picked them up from school, and as a parent, I expected to see them when I got home from work. But I guess I would say God had other plans for the accident to happen to occur, that it wasn't going to be a normal day that I thought it would be.
Uh, all right, let me rephrase the question. Um, so you believe that God decides your fate and the way, um the events in your life. You believe, it sounds like you believe that God decides how things are going to go in your life. So when he decided that your husband and your children would be deceased, were you ever angry at God?
Yes, I do believe that God decided. I am Christian, so I believe in God. I believe the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. I believed it all my life, never swayed away from it. So that is truly what I believe. Not saying that God decided on May the 18th of 2016 that, okay, I'm gonna come and take, her children and husband away. This day was ordained way before the foundation of time, as the Bible states that the God knew us before when we were formed in our mother's womb. So this something that was already predestined that was going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen, but God ultimately knows. He knows what's going to happen. And that's what I firmly believe in because like I said, I am Christian. So that's what I believe in. And that's what happened. So yes, I do believe that God determines our fate. He knows how we're going to do things, how we're going to live our life. He knows what will happen in our life.
So when your family died, you weren't angry at God. You thought this was already planned.
No, I was not angry at God, and yes, I did think that, okay, not necessarily planned, but yeah, it was part of his will. Yes.
Hmm. Okay. So let's let's talk about today. Um, so how are you doing right now in this moment?
I'm great. I'm fantastic. Actually, this year for around the time of the accident, which will be May 18th, it's going to be 6 years. So I've decided to celebrate with a book tour. So I am fantastic. I did not get angry at God. I'm living as He instructed me to do, and I'm happy.
Where you said it's been 6 years, or are you able? How do you feel about dating again? Have you dated again?
I have not dated since then, but I'm open to it. A lot of people ask me, do I want to get remarried? Yes, I do. I'm okay with that because I'm still young. So, yes, I am willing to get married again.
Okay, you're at a part you're in a part of your life where you're okay with starting over.
Yes, most definitely. Yeah.
So what? Oh, something just occurred. Did you ever find out what was the cause of the accident? Like what, was it a collision? Did something happen to the train?
No, I just know that the train hit the truck. So that's all the information I have on that.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
So what advice would you give to anyone that has lost a loved one? Because it's not just one person you lost, that you lost three.
Mhm.
all at the same time. So what advice would you give for anyone going through what you went through, or even a fraction of what you went through?
I will encourage everyone to don't give up. I know grief can be hard and it is a process that you have to go through, but it does get better. It does get easier to deal with. So don't give up while you're going through, because in the end, you will be able to smile again. Your family, whoever you've lost, will want you to smile again. They want you to be happy. So don't worry. They are taken care of, they're safe, so you continue to live your life and it gets better. Know that you will be able to be happy again. You will be able to have joy and peace again. It's just a process.
So what do you say to people, and you're a coach too, right?
Yes, I'm a certified grief coach. Uh-huh.
So what's what do you tell your clients who ask you, how do I do that? How do I just move on? What do you say to them?
I tell them that it's a process. You cannot just move on. It's a process that you have to go through. You will have your ups and downs. You will have those moments where you want to give up. You have will have better days. Some days you may be strong, some days you may be weak. But my advice is to don't give up. Continue to strive. Continue to go after what you desire. Just keep going. Don't give up. And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time and it's a process, but just take your time and go through the process.
So by going through the process, what do you mean?
You will have good days and bad days, but it's okay. Just continue to go through the process and don't give up.
Hmm. And to go at their own pace, right? To not rush grief, but to let it take as long as necessary.
Most definitely. Because no one can tell you, okay, how long to grieve, because everybody feels differently about things. Everybody is their own individual person. So most definitely take your time and do it at your speed.
Hmm. So another thing just came to me. So, and I imagine like you have to, um, so now the aftermath of, losing your husband, losing your children, is all the financial implications that come with it. What was the financial and the legal implications that come with it, in terms of like owning property, and um like settling any debts, so if can you talk about what all that was like for you?
Everybody's situation is different. So it all depends on how you have things set up in your household. But everybody's situation is different, how they deal with things or how they clear out debt, or, with houses or land or whatever they own. All of that is different per household. So I can't really just speak on that.
I mean, do you mind, can you talk about your experience?
Mine was is I didn't have any problems or anything. It was a smooth sale. So I didn't have any problems or anything with that part. So I don't have anything to say on that.
Oh, okay. Okay. um did you do you know if you wrote a will for him, or if he wrote a will?
No.
There's no will.
No, because he were we I'm 37, I was 31 at the time and he was young, so no will was written at that time.
Ah, okay. Okay. So 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 we talked about dating again. What about children? Do you think you can have more children?
Sure. I'm willing and open to. That's fine with me. I love children, so I'm okay with that. Yeah, absolutely love children.
Okay. So right. So you see this, it's not the end of the road, like we talked about before. This is just, this is another part of God's plan for me, and and you're open to whatever else God has in store for you.
Most definitely. That's why I say he told me to live, and that's something that I live by to this very day. It's never the end of the road. Death is not the end of the road for no one except for the person that actually died. I'm still alive, so no, it's not the end of the road for me. There are things that God has in store for me. Like I said, I've written a book. I'm working on another book as well to help children with grief. I have affirmation books out as well. So no, this is not the end of the road. This is a new beginning to my new life. Uh, and I'm accomplishing things in my life.
That's amazing. Um that's you took a traumatic event and you didn't let it keep you down. You used it as a tool to help
Right.
other people.
Most definitely.
Um, so wait, what about how did your family react to the accident? Your family and your husband's family.
I mean, of course, everybody was hurt. Everybody was sad and hurt by it because it was an accident. It's not like that they were sick or anything and then they passed. It just happened suddenly. So that is something hard to accept. It's something hard to deal with, not just with my family, but with anybody's family. Sudden death, I think it probably hurts a little bit more than when somebody is sick and you're expecting them to die. It all hurts. Please don't get me wrong. It all hurts, but it hits a little harder when it's a sudden death versus if they're already sick in their past. So everybody was hurt and devastated by it. I mean, that they were their family as well. So they were hurt by it.
No, like no one blamed you, no one said this was your fault, anything like that.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't get any blames. No,
All right. And how are things with your family now and your husband's family?
everybody is great. Everybody is doing fine. I'm pretty sure they have their moments when they're alone, but everybody is great. Everybody has returned back to life as normal. Like I said, I'm pretty sure they have their moments when they get sad and everything, but everybody is great.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Arletha, for sharing your story.
Thank you.
And you definitely gave great advice is to live. So let me I'll put up your banner right now.
Okay.
So you guys watching right now, you can check out Arletha on her social media. She is on Facebook and Instagram, so definitely check her out and follow her. And if you want to contact her, you want to take advantage of her services, you can also email her. That information is scrolling below at the bottom of your screen. And you can visit her online. Her website is also there. And we mentioned earlier that she is a grief coach. Can you talk about your business a little bit?
As far as being a grief coach, my job is to help other people get through the process of grief. As stated before, I know grief can be hard and it's not something that it's not easy that we have to go through it, but it is possible and it's you're able to get through it. And you will be able to smile again. You will be able to laugh again. You will be able to live again. So don't just stop right there at grief. Continue to go. Like I said, it's a process that you have to go through in order to get to the other side, but you can do it. So that's basically what we do with the grief coach, help people get through the process of grieving. And most of the time, people just need somebody to talk to, just to express themselves. So I will be that listening ear. I will be here to help you get through that process. Also, I have a book entitled Live. It tells about my story, how I made it through losing my family. And the title of it's called Live. So you can also get a copy of my book. I also have affirmation books out for children, so they can realize and know who they are because our children experience so much these days. And also, I'm a publisher, so I help other authors publish their book and tell their story and get it out there to the world as well.
Awesome. And where can we get your books?
So my books are on my website at ishalllive.com, or you can go to istillloveme.com. ISTILLLOVEME.com. You can they're available on both websites.
I'm just going to take a moment and add that. So on the web, and then, all right, what was that second website?
IstillLoveMe.com with the S, the L, and the M capitalized. IstillLoveMe.com.
I
Still
still love
.com.
me.com.
Mhm.
So the I, S, L, and M are capitalized. All right. All right. All right. So there are two places where people can get your books.
Yes.
All right. Awesome. So you guys heard it yourself. So definitely get her book. Wait, is one book or is multiple books?
I have more than one.
More than one. All right. So she has a whole series out, you guys. So definitely check out her website. She has two websites where you can get her books and learn the tips about how to deal with your grief.
Mhm.
And there are many different types of grief, right? It's not just losing a loved one. It could also be losing a job. It could
Right.
be um, losing large sums of money.
Mhm.
It's some sort of loss, right? So I definitely want to share that. And any kind of grief that you're going through, any kind of loss, I encourage you to take advantage of her services. Again, her information is at the bottom of the screen, and it will also be in the description for those of you watching this on our YouTube channel. All right, Arletha, thank you so much for joining me once again. I know
Okay.
this can be a lot for people, but I thank you for taking the time to put it out there.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna put you backstage now. And I'm gonna put up my banner here. All right, so you guys, we have reached the conclusion of our episode. Thank you so much for joining us today. I encourage you to check out our other episodes if you check out our video library. So wherever you are watching this episode right now, whether that is on our social media or on our website, definitely check out our video library for more videos and clips. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Let me just put up that picture real quick. All right, I'm just put up that. Right, so definitely don't forget to follow us on social media. And this production is a So I'm trying to collect my thoughts. Yes, this web series is a production of A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. So if you would like to learn more about our company, our tutoring services, what we are about, please check out our social media, and you could also check out our website. The website is www.astepAheadtutoringservices.com. And I also encourage you to sign up for our email list and our texting list if you would like to receive exclusive access to our discounts, our promotions, and our special offers. That information, again, is at the bottom of your screen, right over here, right? And you could also check out our description for those of you watching this on our YouTube channel. So I encourage you to sign up for that email list. I encourage you to sign up for that texting list. I encourage you to follow us on all of our social media platforms, right? And there was another thing. Yes, let us know what you thought about this episode by leaving a comment in the comment section below or in the comment thread. I would love to know what you thought about this episode. All right, so I am going to share this last message before we officially close.
Hey there, have you heard of us? We're a small team of tutors here at A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. We believe that education and information should be accessible to everyone, regardless of income, race, or creed. We're dedicated to making this happen, but we need your help. Please consider making a donation to our company. No amount is too small. Your donation will allow us tutors to remain employed, offer free and low-cost services, put on productions like this web series, and reach out to families nationwide. With your help, we can tackle the academic challenges of our students and the emotional, mental, and behavioral changes that result from these challenges. As a bonus, we can improve our communities in the process. Support us today. Note: we're a for-profit company. We're not a charity. Your donation may not be tax deductible. Please consult a tax professional.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I just wanted to share this quick comment. This is streaming on my personal Facebook profile right now, and I just wanted to share this small comment from a friend of mine, Sylvie Starks. I can't show it on the screen, unfortunately, but she just said, "Hold strong." Right? She just made that little quick comment there, "Hold strong." Thank you, Sylvie. Thank you so much for that. And we are officially done with this episode. Thank you for joining us. I look forward to seeing you at the next episode. All right, now I am signing off. And I just want to make this quick note. There is no shame in seeking counseling services. So if you believe that you want counseling services, or you want a grief coach, or you just want somebody to talk to, please, please, please don't be afraid to ask for help. There is no shame in that. And I want to make that point very clear. There is no shame in asking for help. So if you need it, please go for it. All right. Now I am signing off. Bye.